What's up guys, it's Brian here, and today I am bringing you another tutorial. Actually, I haven't done a tutorial in quite a while. This kind of goes along with the custom commando tutorial that I did like 6 years ago. However, this video was requested to me by a username on Instagram called peanutbanana42. He sent me a DM and said, can you do a video explaining how to make custom pauldrons? And I thought to myself, that's actually a pretty good idea for a video to make, because I did recently make a pauldron for my Incinerator Stormtrooper, and I have made custom pauldrons in the past. However, it's a pretty simple method that can make your troopers, and especially your custom troopers, look very good without actually like ruining the troopers that you might like paint or decide to draw on in the future. So I have my little workspace set up over here with a few little examples of pauldrons I've done in the past. I haven't actually, besides the Incinerator Trooper, I have not made a pauldron in quite a very long time. I made some a long time ago with like paper and markers. Like I made this one for my first ever stop motion. You might have seen that in LEGO Star Wars The Test Battle. He has a little pauldron on him. Sorry for the weird lighting and stuff. I'm upstairs in my room with my desk light, so that's kind of what the lighting situation is. But anyway, I have like this little pauldron I made. It's not great. I made it a long time ago. I made this one that was supposed to be like a Bly pauldron a very long time ago. I mean, it's okay, but I've definitely gotten better. I have like these little Palpatine ones, which are very strange. These I've used in stop motions before. These little, these white pauldrons on this clone trooper. I used it for like when Flair had his bandage in Ormantel 3. I used one of these pauldrons as well. And the most recent one I've made is the Incinerator Stormtrooper, which is definitely the best one that I've ever made, the best custom pauldron that I've ever made. And I actually used paint on this one as opposed to markers on those others over there. So the method to get started is actually a pretty simple, pretty common, it's pretty, I don't know what I'm saying, it's a pretty common way, it's easy, that's what I'm trying to say, it's easy. It's not that difficult to make a custom pauldron. Most of you guys have LEGO capes, right? It starts with tracing the cape and then cutting out the pauldron shape based on whatever shape you wanted the pauldron. If you have something like a Death Trooper that has a pauldron, that's the right shape, so you could just trace that. If you have like the Captain Rex from a long time ago, you could trace that as well. Some other sets like Stormtroopers also have pauldrons that you can just trace and get a good shape out of it. However, I think most of us have a cape piece, so it's very easy to trace and to get good shape and good results from there. There are two main ways to make a pauldron, and one of them I don't really like, but it's easier, and the other one is it comes out better looking, but it's harder to do. I have a hole punch over here, as you can see. So I have a couple pieces of paper here, just like, you can use any color construction paper you want. You just need like scissors and a pencil and any markers or paint you want. I'm not going to actually use paint in this tutorial, however, I'm jumping all over the place. This is the paint that I use for my custom clones. It's called Testor's Model Paint. I get that question all the time. This is the kind of paint I use. So if you ever want to actually make good looking like clones without Sharpie and make the paint last a long time, this is the stuff I use. Anyway, jumping all over the place. The easy way is with a hole punch. The hard way is tracing and using scissors. So the one problem I don't like with the hole punch is, let's just real quick take a piece of paper, for instance, and we're going to punch a hole in this piece of paper. Good, you have a nice little hole. However, the problem that occurs is I'm going to use the, oh my goodness, everything is falling all over the place. I'm going to use the Utapau Trooper over here. A hole punch, a standard hole punch, is way too big for a LEGO minifigure's neck. It's very loose. It literally just fell off and fell onto my chair. So you can, however, make a pauldron like this using the hole punch. However, the method I like a little better is where you trace the cape or trace the pauldron and cut out the holes so that it fits the size exactly. So first of all, let's try a method with the hole punch. So I'm going to use these white pieces of paper here. This is just computer paper. I cut it into smaller squares. So using your hole punch, punch one hole, slide it over just a little bit, punch a second hole. So it kind of looks like that. You can play around with it until you get the right shape that you specifically want, or to get the accurate shape. And then let's zoom in over here a little bit. A little awkward with the camera angles because I'm not used to filming upstairs in my room. You want to, just like a Lego cape, has the line going down the middle. You kind of want to be able to imitate that on here. So let's see. Start off with like something like this. We'll cut a big shape for now. And you do want to cut a little circle in the middle over here. And again, I would recommend cutting large and then trimming down later on. So, real quick, I'm going to cut this out, put this into a little time lapse. Okay, so you can kind of see how I made this cut over here. I did cut a very small hole in that little center piece there where it has to be able to fold over nicely. So let's get our Utapau Trooper back. And again, it is a little big. It's very loose fitting. But put it on just like a Lego cape. And you might have to do a little more trimming in the middle so that it doesn't have that weird bend. Yeah, this one is bending a little strange. That means I have to cut it a little bit deeper down the center to make it just a hair better. So let's see if we could try this. Alright, where's the head? That's a little better. So now you have the basic shape, and then it comes down to shaping. So this is obviously way, way, way too big. But that's a good problem to have because then we can just trim this down to make it even smaller. So let's do a little bit of trimming. Alright, so I just trimmed around this over here, and this is kind of what it looks like now. It does look a little strange because the holes seem really big in proportion to the rest of the thing. However, let's see what happens when we put it on. Now, that's a little better. So now that shaping definitely is improved. You can see the pauldron shape over here. So that with the hole punch is kind of the easier way as far as like getting good holes to be accurate. However, it's not the way that I like because I definitely prefer this not to have to trim it down so much and to have a fit that, look at that, that fell off without me even doing anything. So the other way that you can experiment is by using a cape. I'm assuming that most of you guys have a Lego cape from some kind of set, and then tracing the cape using some kind of like really thin pencil. I like these mechanical pencils for me because you don't have to sharpen them and they stay really thin. So I'm going to trace this thing out real quick. Okay, so that's the trace of the actual cape. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the shape of it. Alright, so I've cut out the shape of it, and now we got to do the holes up here, which is the harder part because this can be a little tricky in order to get those holes to come out just right. So an option that you can have is folding it over and cutting it in that way. So let's see, I'm just going to do this in real time just to see how this actually ends up coming out. So to just cut the circle right there, unfold it. It's not terrible. You could do a little more trimming on the inside there. Another method you could try is like using your pencil and just poking the hole through it, which actually might end up working okay. So that you can get that little hole to be in there, then shoving your scissor in there and trying a little bit. That actually came out a little more difficult than I thought. Let's see if this little hole fits on a trooper, just because I'm curious to see how that would fit on there. Let's see how that comes out. Just like so. It's a little thin, so you're definitely going to want to trim it down a little more. I'm kind of figuring out this method as I do this video. As you can clearly see, haven't made a pauldron in quite a long time. So we're just going to trim out that little section there. The hole is slightly bigger. Put that on like so. So that does fit. I'm going to go ahead and make this hole bigger, look a little better. Well, that didn't end up coming out too bad. It's a nice, snug fit. So now you do have the cape, and again, you can turn this to the side and cut out the pauldron shape that you want. Now, as far as customizing your pauldron, you do have a few options here. Obviously, you can use any kind of marker that you want. On these older style pauldrons, I did actually tape the whole thing over just to make it a little more solid. That could work for you as well if you're up for that. If you want to make it look real good, this is the pauldron that I painted this on construction paper. I used black construction paper and then actually ended up painting over it. You can get some paints to paint over your pauldrons as well. But that's probably going to do it for this little tutorial. I just wanted to show you a really quick method for making the custom pauldron, to making the figures look a little better. This video was kind of all over the map. I haven't done this in quite a while. I didn't really practice that much before I filmed this video. But basically, if you have a Lego cape, I would recommend doing the tracing method and then like cutting out with your scissors. If you want to do the easy way and have a hole punch, that's up to you as well. And then use any kind of markers to customize, or if you want to make it look real good, use any kind of paint. It doesn't even have to be this type of model paint. It can be pretty much any paint to make it look better. Other kinds of methods of pauldrons you can use to make. This was an experimental design I used for the incinerator trooper with one hole punch, folded it down a little bit. That didn't come out very good, so I didn't actually end up using it. As far as waist capes go, I'm going to put a little picture on the screen for you now of the actual picture of the Lego waist cape. You can try to trace that if you want. I'm not going to do that in this video, however, but this was supposed to be just a general overview. It took me a lot longer than I expected. However, I hope you guys got something out of this. Let me know down in the comments if you have better methods of making custom pauldrons for your clone troopers, and let me know what you guys think. Leave a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. Leave me a comment down below. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer you. I'm not sure how well this video even turned out. So leave them all in the comment section below, and be sure to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks, guys, for watching. This has been Brian from Watermelon Studios. Peace out, guys.